It was the height of the summer and we were back to Croatia for another trip to the fantastic Lake Sumbar, surely one of the best big fish waters in the world today. We all met up early morning at the clubhouse so that the draw could be done. The draw was done by trip organiser Christoph Kuderman. And although all swims on the lake are good, we're all hoping for a decent number to be pulled out of the hat to get our favoured areas. With 10 pairs of anglers fishing, the lake is split up into 10 sections, some having more water than others, but all fishing out to good areas of the lake. We had our favourites, what we wanted to head for, and our first choice would have been section 6 right down in one corner that offers a lot of water, and our second choice would have been section 1 in the far corner on the other side, but unluckily for us they come out 1 and 2 in the draw and we had picked number 4. Our choice was to go for section 2. It's a long narrow section of water, but it's a good area covering some of the central part of the lake, and it's an area I've fished before and done well from, so we was happy to be in there. Well, we've got an absolute nutter here, as you can probably guess. But we're off the mark anyway, that's the main thing. Quite tired at the moment, didn't get much sleep last night, but we arrived today and I put out quite a bit of bait, hoping that I'd get a good night's kip and bring the fish in for tomorrow. And it was out there about 45 minutes. Off it went with this one, 42. So a nice start. He's had a bit of tail damage in the past. It's growing back, which is nice, but it is an absolute nutter, this fish. So yeah, you can see how these things happen. But there we go. Put a load of bait out, thinking it was going to take ages for him to get through it, and it took him 45 minutes. Hungry little things. Whew. But nice start anyway. Not so hot, 25 degrees at the moment, not the 30 odd, 35, 36 that it was this time last year, but yeah, better for the fishing I suppose. Whew. Better for sleeping hopefully tonight. There we go, right, getting back, get the rod out, have an early night. I might have been tired, but any thoughts of an early night were soon put on the back burner when the alarms wouldn't stop going off. Well, it's been another hectic first evening. God, there's loads of mozzies about now. Literally this time last year, had 2 50s and 60 on the first evening, and I thought, well, we're not going to match that. But Jones just had we had 2 takes at the same time. Jones just had a 28 common, had a 42 mirror earlier, and just had a 65 mirror. So it has matched up to last year. Had a little bit of rain, wasn't a storm, just a little shower come through. And well, that always seems to kick it into action, and it certainly has done again. Look at that, what a beast of a mirror that is. 65 and a quarter. Quite an half fight at all. What a lovely fish. First evening, got a load of time yet, only just started. Amazing. Right, it's heavy. I'm worn out. There we go. Just wanted to show you it's getting dark, so I'm going to put him back, get the rod back out. Yes. Mwah. Oh. Well, the swim we've got is, well, it's actually a swim I fished 2 years ago with Tom Duncan Dunlop. Got in the same one again, and you know, it's a good swim, but you don't get a lot of room in here. Not width-wise. You can go out about 150 metres, but you haven't got much width to go at. So basically, the approach what I'm going to use is knowing from past experience, most of the fish seem to come basically on the edge of that boundary. So I'm going to put all rods in a line and bait mainly around the centre. Put a big patch of bait in the centre, have rods on that, but then also gradually stagger the rods out so that there's one in the main patch of bait, one on the edge of it, and one sort of off of the bait, just not single hook bait, but almost, you know, just to see how that works out, how it pans out really. There's plenty of hungry fish in here, so they do get on the bait, but you know, sometimes, it's an old cliche, but sometimes those big ones do hang on the outskirts and pick up the straggling bait, so you know, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, so it's that's the plan, and just see how it pans out from there. By Croatian standards, it had been a fairly cool start, really. Nothing like the temperatures we'd experienced before. But I had been keeping a close eye on the weather forecast, and it was due to heat up quite considerably over the next few days. It's so hot, it's amazing the fish feed in these sort of temperatures. Flat calm, absolutely roasting hot. And a real chunk of a mirror, just under £50, 49. Yeah, cracker of a fish. Put plenty of bait out this morning. Nice big bucket full of bait actually. And it's been quiet until now. I had one first thing, and since I put the bait out it's been a bit quiet, but it's amazing, the hottest part of the day. Hottest day so far as well is about 34 today, it feels about 44. And it's due to be hotter, not tomorrow but the next day, really hot. And then we've got a few storms and it's going to cool down to about 25, which will be lovely. And that'll get them going for sure. But even in this intense heat, they're still feeding. Amazing. Right. Let's get you back in that nice cool water. It was back to the scorching temperatures which I knew so well in Croatia, and the hottest day was still yet to come, a roasting 37 or 38 degrees. I was sitting under the shade of a tree, it's alright here, but out there it's definitely scorchio today, 38 degrees out there. Got the brolly up in case we hook one, or when it does happen, so we can stand under there and play a fish. It is so hot, but it's all changed tomorrow. Dropping 10 degrees, bit of wind, bit of rain, carpy weather. So looking forward to that. Today it's just staying out of it as much as possible. Another roaster. But there's a little breeze today, but it's absolutely red hot again. But a bit of action this morning. Had a few. a few commons, one mirror, about £25, 42 common, and the biggest common of the trip so far, 56.25. And yeah, commons all coming on the same rod at the moment, on the left hand rod. Yeah, what a cracker. These fish are amazing, aren't they? Absolutely beautiful. Great big high shoulders and heavy as well. Yeah, it's going great. Putting plenty of bait out, putting plenty of scopex out, and plenty of particles as well, hemp and sort of mixed particles. And gradually they're getting more and more on it. So yeah, happy days, it's going well. And it seems like every day there's a big one like this amongst them, so that's all we can keep hoping. Something like this keeps turning up. Brilliant. In case you're wondering, Joan was getting in on the action as well, in fact getting plenty of action, but she preferred being behind the camera rather in front of it. Although on occasion I did manage to get a few pictures of her, like with this £36 common. As promised, that evening the clouds started to build up and the temperature started to drop. Storm was definitely moving in, and it was just what I was waiting for. I was really hoping that this was going to be the big fish time. But it just shows all these years of experience count for nothing sometimes. It did indeed cool everything down, and it was lovely for me to actually not be melting for a change. But the action died a death. Did still catch a few carp, but nothing like what I was expecting, and certainly none of the big fish. It seemed they loved the sunshine. Still quite early morning. It's been a fairly quiet night actually. Just had a little catfish, which was, they're a bit of a pain. There's 3 I've had this trip, but just going to change things up a little bit. It's not something I'll do very often. Normally when I've got a method, I tend to stick with it, and especially sort of bottom baits or wafters. And that's what I've been getting all the fish on at the start here. 18 and sort of 24mm wafters, either citrus or scopex squid. It's a weird thing at this place that they seem to sort of get used to a baiting situation or a certain setup, and the action tails off. It's happened actually every time here, and not one way, it's different ways. The first time I was here, I was catching them on big bottom baits, and that sort of tailed off. So I put pop-ups on, and all of a sudden the action shot right up. So the next time I came here and went straight in with pop-ups, thinking that was the method. But that was exactly the same. Started off really good, got some big fish on them, and that tailed off, and I ended up going back the other way. So it's not so much the method, but it's just you need to change things up a little bit. So I've been on the wafters up till now, and I've caught some great fish on them, obviously, but it is tailing off, definitely. It's not the numbers of fish in the swim that were, definitely. That's, part of the case. But it was noticeable yesterday. I did change one over to a pop-up, and that rod was the main one going off. So, this one did have a wafter on. It had an 18mm citrus wafter, and that's what I just had the catfish on actually. But that's not what I'm after. So what's going on here? I've got a stiff It's basically my version of a pop-up rig. I tend to use stiff rigs a lot of the time, but it is a fair bit of, not deep silt, but soft silt out there. So I've got a 25-pound skin link boom on there, and the usual sort of chod link, stiff link hook section with a little chod twister and tangerine dream pop-up actually on that. So yeah, pretty old style pop-up rig, but it works here anyway, and change is as good as the rest, as they say. So yeah, when things start dipping down, the action starts dropping, change things up a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do, stick pop-ups out there. Unusual for me, I don't often use pop-ups, but there's a time and a place for everything, and it's time for one of these to go out. First take for a while, it's been quiet today. Thought I'd try a little pop-up out there, and that's done the job. Phew. Ooh, another hard fighting common. Uh-huh. Look at that. Wow. Oh, nice, been using that. Blimey. Oh well. There you go. Croatian rig. Bet you're pleased to get that out of you. That'll do. Yeah, 33-ish, 33 and a half. Won't bother, just slipping back. There you go, sunshine. It's often the case really that in hot countries the fish just get used to that heat and actually end up preferring it, and conditions that we think might be conducive to a bit of action actually make it go the other way. It was obvious the fish loved the sunshine, and as it returned, so did the fish. God, well, it's been a mad couple of hours, and certainly a mad last half hour. I was just photographing a 46 common actually, and never even got a chance to get it on film because another rod rattled off, and so I had to slip that one straight back. And Joan grabbed it before I could take over, and that was the result. Even better one, 55 and a quarter. So two lovely commons, literally in the space of a few minutes. 46 and a half, 55 and a quarter. An amazing place this is, isn't it? When you catch fish like this. I think it's about 10 fish we've had today, most of them this afternoon. We're putting out plenty of bait. Keep saying it, but I'll put out another load today, big bucket load, and they get on it. That's the thing. It takes them a little time, a few hours, but they get on it, and things like this come along. We were well and truly back amongst the action, and just into dark there was another good fish, a mirror of 51 pound, to finish what was a fantastic day. Following morning, I was in action again. And what is it they say about full moons and big commons? Early morning, about 5:30. Already had a good fish actually. Just got back into bed, and another one's gone. Well, it made it worthwhile putting all that bait out yesterday evening. First time I baited up in the evening instead of the morning. And, well, 3 takes. One fell off early, and, well, this was the one that made it all worthwhile. A cracking common. And a great big chunk, 60 and a quarter pound. What makes it so nice, I mean, the first day we started with a 60 mirror, and this is now the last day. To finish with a 60 common is absolutely fantastic. And you know, I've worked hard for this one. Changed sort of tactics a little bit all the way through, changed baiting patterns as well. This was just over boilie, over Scopex squid and tangerine dream. Little tangerine dream pop up over the top. And there we go. Oh no, this Scopex squid pop up this one. And there we go. What a fantastic way to finish your trip. I mean, it's not over, but God, proper chunk. I mean, I didn't think it was this big because it's quite short, but it's so wide and fat and heavy. A bit like me, really. And there we go. What a lovely fish. Whew. Brilliant stuff. The action did indeed continue right up until the end, and I even had one of those takes that we all talk about, when all the gear was packed away in the van and it was just the rods left on the deck. But it had been another great trip to one of the best big fish waters in the world. I'd been with a great group of people and we'd all had some good fun in the sun. But for now, it was over. Time to head off back to England once more and look forward to the next trip.